Welcome Algebra 1 students to another Regents review video. This is the June 2014 Algebra 1 Common Core exam for New York State. This is going to be part 1, questions 13 through 24. That's the end, the second half of the multiple choice section. And without further ado, let's talk about a few things before we begin here. If you are here, and I will say this all the time, if you are here to copy answers, please do not please refrain from doing so because you are not learning anything. So make sure that you just try the problems by yourself. I promise you it's really not that bad of a test, and you can learn a few things. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and visit my website at www.nysmathregionsprep.com for much more math content. Without further ado, oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. Make sure that you own some sort of graphing calculator. I use the TI Inspire CX. I have a feeling that if you own a different type of calculator, such as the TI-84, you're going to want this calculator really, really badly because it is an awesome calculator for Algebra 1, and we do use it often for the Regents exam. Without further ado, let's begin. All right, question 13. Given all of these letters equaling these numbers, which expression results in a rational number? Okay, a rational number. A rational number can be written as a ratio of two integers. So if I were to take a look at all of these numbers, the only numbers that are actually rational are n and p, because the square root of 16 is the number 4, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I'm looking for an expression that has the letters n and p in it, and none of these, because these numbers here, these are irrational numbers. Remember that an irrational number is a non-terminating, which means that it never ends, and it's a non-repeating, meaning that there is no repetition, such as like 1.333 is a rational number. But an irrational number can be like pi, 3.14159. It goes on forever without repeating, and it doesn't end. So which expression results in a rational number? I'm looking for n and p. L plus m. No, that results in an irrational number. The sum of two irrational numbers is an irrational number. M plus n. No, that's an irrational number. N plus p. Take a look at that. Choice 3 is the answer because 4 plus 3 is equal to the number 7, and 7 is rational, and it can't be choice 4. All right, that's how you do question number 13. Moving on. Which system of equations has the same solution as a system below? Okay, these questions show up all the time on the Regents exam in Algebra 1, and they're really testing your knowledge on whether or not you know how to multiply a line by a scale factor to result in the same line. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at choice 1. 2x plus 2y equals 16. Well, they didn't change the first one. And then all of a sudden, they changed the second one. 6x minus 2y equals 4. So in your brain, you have to figure out, well, what did they multiply this bottom equation to result in this? Well, it looks like 3 times what number gives you 6? Well, that's going to give you the number... Oops, sorry. This happens sometimes. All right, that is the number 2. If you multiply this by 2, you're going to get 6x minus 2y, because if you distribute that 2 times 3 is 6x, 2 times negative y is negative 2y, and 2 times 4 gives you 8. Oh, wait a minute. That should be an 8. So that's why choice 1 is incorrect. You see where I'm going with this so far? You have to make sure that when you're multiplying, everything is multiplied. Choice 2. The first equation is the same. Let's take a look at the second one. So again, we're multiplying by 2 here. Distribute that 2. So we get 6x minus 2y is equal to 8. Does that resemble this one? 6x minus 2y equals 8. That's your answer. Choice 2 is the correct answer. Now, if you want to ensure that you got the right answer, let me show you a really awesome way to figure this out. First of all, this is a system of equations, meaning that these equations actually do have a solution set. So if I were to go to my graphing calculator, and you go to Menu, then go to Graph Entry Edit, and you click on relation, you could actually type in Oops. My apologies. You could go to relation and type in 2x plus 2y is equal to 16. Graph it. That is the line over there. Now, you can now graph 3x minus y is equal to 4. Enter. Okay, so just by looking at it, those are your system of equations. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph my answer and see if it matches up. Now, there's no need to graph the first one, which is 2x plus 2y equals 16, because I already graphed it. I want to look at and see if 6x minus 2y equals 8 is the same answer as the red line. And look at that, it is. So we know that it's going to produce the same solution set. Now, if you don't like that way, there's actually another way to figure it out. That's why I say to buy this calculator, because it's so great. If you go to your calculator page and you click on menu, then you click on algebra, and then you click on solve system of linear equations, and you click on OK. And you go ahead and actually type in 2x plus 2y equals 16, and then go ahead and type in 3x minus y is equal to 4, you get an answer of 3,5. Do the same thing for your answer. Menu, algebra, solve system of linear equations. We are only working with 2. And I'm going to type in my answer. 2x plus 2y equals 16. And 6x minus 2y is equal to 8. Bingo. Same solution, so therefore we got the right answer. That's choice 2. Moving on to question 15. Which table below represents the function f? Okay, so it looks like, first and foremost, that these are increasing by an exponential value. So this is not a linear function. This is a exponential function. So what we have to look for is an exponential function. So we're looking at choices 1 and choice 3. Choices 2 and 4, these represent linear functions with a constant rate of change. So now we're just looking at the exponential functions. Well, the easiest way to do this is to actually just graph 3 raised to the x and 2 raised to the x plus 1 and see which one matches up. Well, if I graph in my calculator, if I graph 3 raised to the x power, I get this thing here, and just do Control T. And the table of values, well, if you look here, it starts at the point 0, 1. This one, okay, well, this one doesn't have a 0 value. It actually starts at 3 for us. So let's go down to x equals 3. X equals 3. It starts with 27. That's not 27. That is 9. So let's try choice 3. 2 raised to the x plus 1. 2 raised to the x plus 1. Control T, go down to your 3 value. Oh, look at that. 3, 9. Actually, let me shrink this a little bit here. We get 3, 9. 4, 17. We go down to 6. That's 665. 7, 129. So all of these values satisfy these conditions. So that is going to be choice 3. Number 16. John has 4 more nickels than dimes in his pocket for a total of $1.25. Which equation could be used to determine the number of dimes x in his pocket? So I'm going to set up what's called let statements. So I'm going to let x equal dimes, because this question is being based off of the amount of dimes. Now I'm going to let x plus 4 equal the nickels in his pocket, because John has 4 more nickels than dimes. Dimes is x, nickels is x plus 4. So, and they all result in $1.25. Which equation could be used to determine the number of dimes in his pocket? So, you're really just adding these things here along with what the dimes and nickels values are, and you're setting it equal to $1.25. Well, one dime is equivalent to 0.10, which is 10 cents. So it's 0.10x plus 0.05 for 5 cents times x plus 4, which is the amount of nickels, is equal to $1.25. Which one shows that? That is going to be choice 2. 0.05 times x plus 4 plus 0.10x is equal to 125, and that is your dimes, and this is your nickels, and that's your total. All right, that's question 16. Moving on, 17. This is a good question. If f of x is equal to 1/3 x plus 9, which statement is always true? What in the world do these symbols mean? Well, let me tell you. You should have learned that f of x means y. Okay? So what this is saying, choices 1 and 2 are saying that the y value is less than 0 and the y value is greater than 0. So what that means is, if you were to graph this, choice 1 is saying that the y values are always negative, and for choice 2, it's saying that the y values are always positive. Well, if I were to graph 1/3 x plus 9, 1/3 x plus 9, there are some negative, which is all the way down here. So that could be negative down here. And it also could be positive, okay? So choices 1 and 2 make no sense. This is saying that y is always positive and y is always negative. Those don't make any sense. Now, if we take a look at choice 3, it's saying if x is less than 0, then f of x is less than 0. What does that mean? Well, if your x values are always negative, that means that we're looking over here in this vicinity. That means that your y value, they're saying that your y values are always negative. No, that's not true. Your y values are positive for a little bit. I keep changing this. And then they start to go negative. So that's not always true. Your answer is going to be choice 4. If x is greater than 0, then y is greater than 0. Yes, because this is a line. It keeps on going up for, this particular line keeps on going up forever. If x is greater than 0, look. Keeps on going up forever and forever and forever, and it never goes negative. So that's why your answer is going to be choice 4 for this one. That was definitely a trickier type of question. All right, number 18. The Jameson family kept a log of the distance they traveled during a trip, as represented by the graph below. All right, so the Jameson family obviously loves math. And it says here, during which interval was their average speed the greatest? Average speed the greatest. Average speed means slope. Make sure that you know it. Average rate of change or average speed is slope. So we are looking for what is the steepest slope. The steepest slope. Well, if you're looking at all these lines, it looks like, just by looking at it, this is the steepest right there. Without a question, because it starts to flatten off over here, gets a little bit worse in terms of the speed. They get a little faster, but this is obviously the steepest. And I'll just tell you right now, I actually did the answer key a while ago, but if you actually calculate the slope, which remember is change in y over the change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you calculate the slopes of each individual line segment, this is going to be 70 miles per hour. This over here, this is 35 miles per hour. This over here is going to be 25 miles per hour. This is 60 miles per hour, and that's where there's a little confusion with that one. And this over here is 20 miles per hour. So your answer is going to be from the first hour to the second hour is the steepest slope. And that's the reason why, and if I calculate the slope, that's 110 minus 40 over 2 minus 1. That's just 70 miles per hour. They're traveling 70 miles per hour. And that is going to be choice 1. All right, moving on. Christopher looked at his quiz scores shown below for the first and second semester of his algebra class. Which statement about Christopher's performance is correct? All right, folks. I see in the answer choices interquartile range, median, mean, and the third quartile. You should know that you have to put this in your calculator and get your answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in my list, my list of numbers into my listen spreadsheets into my calculator. Now you could call the title up here whatever you want. I'm going to call it semester 1. Okay? And this one over here, this second column is going to be his semester 2 grades. Now I'm just going to type in the values. So this could all be found on your Regents exam copy. So I'm just typing in all these numbers that he got. These are all of his quiz scores from his algebra class in the first semester. Now, the second semester is all of these numbers here. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to analyze this data into my calculator. Now, I typed in all my data. Now you just press Control, Doc, add a calculator. Go to Menu, go to Statistics, then go to Stat Calculations, and then go to One Variable Statistics. We're only measuring one variable. That's his quiz scores. So go to One Variable Statistics, click OK, and I'm going to type in Semester 1. And click OK. So it comes up as this list of data. We're going to use this in a second. Then go to Menu, do it again. Statistics, Stat Calculations, now do one variable. Click OK, and now this is going to be Semester 2. Click OK. Now, we have all these lists of numbers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look and see what these could be. The interquartile range for Semester 1 is greater than the interquartile range for Semester 2. Well, you need to know what the interquartile range is. That is, by definition, it is your third quartile minus your first quartile. So they're saying that the Semester 1 is greater than the one in Semester 2. Well, if you go to Semester 1, the third quartile is 92.5, your quartile 1 is 80.5. Well, 92.5 minus 80.5, that's going to result in the number 12. So is that greater than this one? Well, 92 minus 80 for the second semester. No, it's equal. They are equal. The interquartile range numbers are equal. So that can't be true. Number 2, the median score for Semester 1 is greater than the median score for Semester 2. We'll go to Semester 1 again. Go to Semester 1. And the median is 88. And Semester 2 is 88. Again, they're equal. So that makes absolutely no sense. Get rid of that answer. Choice 3, the mean. The mean, by the way, is represented by this symbol right there. It's your X with a little bar over it. The mean score for Semester 2 is greater than the mean score for Semester 1. Well, if you go back to your calculator, the mean score for Semester 2 is 87. The mean score for Semester 1 is 86.8. Therefore, choice 3 is the correct answer. So that is, listen to me, that is such a tedious question, but you could get it right every single time. All right? Moving on to question number 20. Okay. The graph of y is equal to f of x is shown below. This is definitely a weird looking graph. Which point could be used to find f of 2? So let's talk about what f of 2 means. They're saying here, which point has the value x is equal to 2. Okay, x is equal to 2 is a vertical line, which is right here. That's x is equal to 2. Because every single point on this line has a value of x is equal to 2. Well, the only point that works is right underneath there, and that is going to be point A. So A is the points to find f of 2. All right, and that's it. 21. A sunflower is 3 inches tall at week 0 and grows 2 inches each week. Which function or functions shown below can be used to determine the height f of n of the sunflowers in n weeks? Okay, this is so critically important. It says it's 3 inches tall at week 0. So that means if you actually plug in n is equal to 0 for the 0 week in all these functions, 1, 2, and 3, you have to get an answer of 3. Because when you buy a flower from a store, it has to be grown a little bit if you actually buy the physical flower. If you buy seeds, that's a different story. But if you actually buy a flower, it actually has a little measurement. In this case, it's 3 inches tall. So if you plug in 0 into all of these, which one will give you a value of 3? Well, if you plug in for the first one, f of 0 is equal to 2 times 0 plus 3, right? 0 times anything is just 0, so that's 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. So in this case, 1 could work because the first week is 0. No, I'm sorry. The first week has 3 inches. No, I keep saying that wrong. At time t equals 0, the 0 week, it's 3 inches tall. Sorry about that. Choice 2, if you take 0 and you plug it in, you get f of 0 is equal to 2 times 0 plus 3 times 0 minus 1. Great. 2 times 0 is 0. Now 3 times 0 minus 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So that's 0 minus the 3. That's negative 3 inches? No, that makes no sense. So choice 2 is out of here. So now it's down to 1 and 3. So look at what's nice about choice 3. They're telling you that f of 0 is 3. That's called your initial condition. So they're telling you, hey, at time t equals 0, or the 0 week, it is 3 inches. Great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to test one more week. I'm going to test the first week. Now, if it's growing 2 inches every week, your first week should be 5 inches. So if I go here and I go and plug in f of 1. So f of 1 is equal to 2 times 1 plus 3. That's 2 plus 3, which is equal to the number 5. That's 5 inches. Great. Now if you go over here to 3, this one's a little bit more complex. If you type in if you plug in f1 is equal to f of 1 minus 1 plus 2, right? We get f of 1 is equal to f of 0 plus 2. When people see this, they freak out. What is f of 0? Well, they tell you this. That's your initial condition. F of 0 is 3. Plug in 3. So we get 3 plus 2, which is equal to the number 5. So we could conclude, based off this information, that choice 4 is the correct answer. 1 and 3 both have that representation. 22. A cell phone company charges $60 a month for up to 1 gigabyte of data. The cost of additional data is 5 cents per megabyte. If D represents the number of additional megabytes used and C represents the total charges at the end of the month, which linear equation could be used to determine a user's monthly bill? Okay, so this $60 is a monthly charge. So if you have C is equal to, well, your monthly charge is $60. So every month you get charged $60. All right, that is your monthly charge. Now, if you use more storage, if you use more than that, then it's going to be 5 cents per additional megabyte. Because if you use more than 1 gigabyte, every additional megabyte that you use is 5 cents. So that's your total cost for the month. We're looking for this. And your answer is going to be choice 4. All right? All right, moving on to question number 23. The formula for the volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 pi r squared times h. The radius r of the cone may be expressed as what? In other words, this question is saying solve for h. No, I'm sorry, solve for r. Solve for r. We're solving for r. So, if we have V is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times the height, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 1/3, the pi, and the h. In order to do that, you need to multiply the whole thing by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/3 is 3 over 1. Now, the pi and the h are considered in the numerator. So now we're going to move this to the denominator. And I'm going to repeat the process on both sides. So 3 over pi h. 1/3 cancels with 3, pi cancels with pi, h cancels with h. So we get 3v over pi h, because 3 times v is just 3v, over pi h is equal to r squared. And now we take the square root of both sides. Because we have r squared, we want r. So take the square root of both sides, and we get, God, my square roots are ugly. And we get r is equal to plus minus the square root of 3v over pi h. And the only answer that would work is going to be choice 1. All right, and that's how you do question number 23. Moving on to the final question of this multiple choice. Okay, the diagram below represents the first 3 terms of a sequence. Assuming the pattern continues, which formula determines a sub n, the number of shaded squares in the nth term? So how many squares are in the first term? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 in the first term. Now, if you go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, those are 16. So it looks like we're adding by 4 each time. So this one over here is going to be number 20. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say to myself, well, what do I know about the formulas? Well, they tell you all of the formulas and they give you the nth term. Okay? All of these n's represent the nth term. So if I were to plug in the number 1 into all of these answer choices, which of the following would give me the number 12? Well, let's do it right now. If I take the number 1 and I plug it into choice 1, right? You get 4 times 1 plus 12, that's equal to 16. That means that the first term has to be 16. No, it's the number 12. So that can't be right whatsoever. Let's take a look at choice 2. A sub 1, if we plug in 1, that's equal to 4 times 1 plus 8. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 8 is 12. That's your answer. And if you look at all of the other ones, if you plug in 1 over here, that gives you the number 8. That makes no sense. If you plug in over here, that's equal to the number 6. So so choice 2 has to be the answer, because a sub 1 is 12, a sub 2 is 16, a sub 3 is equal to 20, so it does, in fact, follow the correct pattern. And that is your answer for question 24. All right, I hope that this video helped you. Please hit that subscribe button down below and make sure that you visit www.nysmathregionsprep.com for much more math content in Algebra 1, and I hope to see you soon.